Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including Steven Universe, which we're getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hey, y'all.
Michelle Anderer.
Hello.
And Justin Cummings.
Hello!
Yes, very excited, as Justin
Very excited.
says, to discuss What's Your Problem, the latest episode of Steven Universe, the July 3rd episode, Tuesday, that aired tonight on Cartoon Network, where we'll be taking you through this Heart of the Crystal Gems week, podcasting every night on each episode at overlyanimated.com. Find us there or search for Overly Animated Steven Universe on iTunes. Subscribe there or on YouTube to not miss any of our future Steven Universe recap podcasts. We talked about the very big episode last night. A lot of people excited about that discussion. Go check that out if you've not seen it. And tonight we're getting to this big Amethyst episode as well. Spoilers for What's Your Problem if you have not seen this episode yet. But let's get into things. Delaney, what did you think of What's Your Problem?
I really liked it. So at first I was like, Amethyst, why do you suck? I'm like, you're being the worst. And then, well, it was just so typical Amethyst. And I kind of felt like we went backwards a little bit for just for a few seconds. Though it was really funny though when like Pearl's like, what will we do without Garnet? And they both just start crying. That was some quality. Like that was like Pearl was at her peak, and then this is like actual Pearl. Yeah. So it was great. But I'm really proud of Amethyst in this episode. And finally, after like this whole season, somebody was like, Steven is a child. We are all 9 million years old, and we need to stop acting like babies. I really appreciate Amethyst. Like that whole talk on the beach, like, I love you. You're the best. Finally, someone said it. It actually happened. Like, I'm still blown away. They're like, we're going to give you answers. And I'm like, you are lying. And here we are, continuing to get the things we want. This is great. Amethyst actually finally made Steven feel better for 2 seconds after, like, all this horrible crap that's happened to him. I am satisfied. And it was really funny when Steven was like, you're the most mature crystal gem. Hilarious. If you would have told me 2 years ago that Amethyst was the most mature crystal gem, I would have had a stroke and died. This is great. This is fabulous. Wow. Also, Amethyst being done and flying away as a helicopter is hilarious. So, also that disgusting pizza.
Oh, that was so. The whole fish was in the pizza.
Also, we had fish
scales on.
Like we had the fish stews. Like it doesn't matter. Everything's great. Like it's all good now.
Yes. Okay.
Because they're the best. So it was, and we saw Onion, my son, Onion, being sketchy.
Straight at the telescope. He knew what was going on.
Bring Onion up 2 minutes in the podcast.
I had to just for you, Dylan.
No,
but it was just great.
Not happy. Okay, Michelle, what'd you think?
I was so happy to get like an Amethyst-centered episode because it's been a while. Like it's been a while for Garnet, but it's also been a while for Amethyst. And like Delaney, I agree. It was so nice to see how far she's come herself. Like I was really worried. Like when we started getting like the take, like she really is like bothered by it, but she's like kind of pushing that away to help Steve, and I was afraid that was going to backfire and he was going to, interrogate her and she was going to unravel and tell him her sob story. But she didn't, and the fact that she doesn't want to do that for very justifiable reasons is so remarkable. And it's just so nice to see, like, Amethyst. And I do feel like she and Steven in particular have, like, a very particular bond.
They're the same person, that's why.
Yeah, but, like, Steven, like, we've seen him, like, we were saying last episode, too, like, he's so mature now. Like, he has so much on his shoulders. He has to kind of be an adult in a lot of ways. And Amethyst, on the other hand, like, is trying so hard to just, like, joke around like they used to. And you see how different it is between them now than it was, like, 3 seasons ago. And that's really interesting, too. But, yeah, Amethyst is a really stellar friend. She's like, yeah, like Lynn was saying, it's like, he is a child, and everyone's, like, kind of giving him their trauma story. And he has his own to deal with. He can't even deal with his yet because he's so worried about everyone else. And that's,
she's like, my 1,000-year-old complicated.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I love you.
Like, she's giving him, like, a breather. Like, he's gonna go find Ruby, and there's gonna probably be more there. But, like, for now, like, he gets to take a minute to just kind of digest. And I think he needs that more than he knows. And Amethyst definitely knows he needs that. So I really like that this seems to be, like, every episode we're getting how a different character is feeling. I think that's a good approach for this arc. So I'm pretty high on this one too.
Nice. I feel like that describes the show in general. Each episode, how are you feeling to a different person?
Yeah. How are you?
Yeah. This episode, Amethyst. Okay. Justin, what do you think of What's Your Problem?
I really like this episode. At first, I was like, Amethyst is kind of being old Amethyst, and I'm like, we backslid quite a bit. See, this is what happens when we don't focus on Amethyst for a while. She undevelops. But no, like, the whole thing, even, play GameCube with me was just wanting to distract Steven from other people's problems. And I thought, like, in hindsight, it all makes sense. And yeah, it was just a great Amethyst episode, and she's definitely, I think, my favorite character now. Like, she was already up there, but this just kind of went pew all the way. And the puns in this episode were so good. Like, get out of my head. Like, just all of it.
No.
Amethyst shrinking down to the size of just her gem was...
That was hilarious.
That was
great
cool.
visual
just,
comedy.
Like, her arms and legs.
That was, like,
great visual
down
comedy.
One of the funniest things that's ever happened on Steven Universe. It was so funny.
And I think it took Amethyst to just point out the thing that no one has said yet. Like, and that's what's so interesting, is everyone's been so caught up in, like, oh no, Garnet can't stay together. Oh no, Pearl's sad. Oh no, Amethyst's sad. No one took the time to be like, Steven is Pink Diamond. Pink Diamond is in the room right now.
Yeah.
And finally, Amethyst's just like, Pink Diamond's right there. Like, you're Pink Diamond. Like, no one had said that yet. And that to me is so shocking that we hadn't even mentioned it. And it took Amethyst to just say something. And it showed that no one gave a crap about Steven. And I think, yeah, this was a really good episode. And surprisingly, yeah, I think Amethyst is now the most mature Crystal Gem officially. And good for her. She deserved it.
She deserves it. Yeah, do we agree with that interpretation by Steven at the end there? Is Amethyst indeed the most mature Crystal Gem?
I mean, honestly, yeah. I mean, obviously they're all dealing with all of this trauma, but I mean, she's the one dealing with it the right way. Yeah. Because it's kind of like, it's like, oh, your mother died? That's really sad. This is why I'm upset that your mother died. And instead of being like, hey, this is really awful, and I should hold back why I'm sad to comfort you because this is really your problem. Like, that kind of thing. Like, obviously they were all close to her and everything, and like, this is a big deal, but like, it's literally Steven's mom. He is her.
Yeah.
That's true. Like, and he is going around just like placating everyone else before himself, which is kind of like, I think, the hardest thing about being a Steven, because he cares so much, like, he's so sensitive and he cares so much about how everyone else is doing. He doesn't check in with how he feels a lot of the time if other people are hurting. Well, and so it's great.
He hasn't really dealt with them hurting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's kind of a thing too. Like, they've always taken care of him, like, growing up, and him wanting to be a Crystal Gem, and then now actually kind of dealing with the consequences of what everyone's been through. So, like, it makes sense that he wants to help people. Like, I think that's the thing too. Like, it's really just been this past season that he's felt like he really needs, like, obviously he's that caring, genuine person who wants to take care of people, but like, this is kind of the season where everyone has become vulnerable, and Steven they've opened up to where Steven, like, is knowing the full story.
I mean, I'm going to push back against that a little. I mean, even season 1, we had maximum capacity, we had Rose of Scabbard, then we had keeping it together. I think like this is the biggest thing that has affected them the deepest.
Well, it's more like they tell him.
Yeah.
Like with Rose of Scabbard, it's like he learns, but he's still kind of like, whoa, like, it's not really, he doesn't really deal with it in the way that like he is now, where he's like, oh my god, let's talk about it.
Yeah. He's just more like, I'm there for you, and I still think you're great, so I hope you feel better.
Because a lot of it was him, like, being too, like, he wasn't really a lot of things happened, and Steven was just kind of watching, like, oh, wow.
Like, learning about it as But that's true.
I think what's important, though, especially in this episode, is that Steven is a caring person, and Amethyst didn't want to take away from that. Like, because at the end, she's like, you still want to find Ruby? Like, she just wanted to give him a reprieve. She just wanted to make sure he's okay. Right. She doesn't want to keep him from helping. And I think this episode did a really good job, because I think this was early Amethyst. Like, if this was season 1 or 2, Steven would have then had to stop and deal with Amethyst's problem of not letting Steven help. But we're at the point where it's like, yes, you can help. You just need to make sure you're balancing it with your own mental health and that you're taking care of yourself too.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Yeah, because like Amethyst, the classic Amethyst is all about like denying that there's a problem, right? Like she doesn't like confronting her own insecurities and issues. But this is an Amethyst who's like, oh no, I know what's going on with me. It sucks. But we're not going to talk about it right now. We're going to put that on the back burner for now. We're going to do this other thing, and then we can come back to it, which definitely seems like a step in the maturity direction for her.
Right. Yeah. I think the intended interpretation at the end of this episode is that Amethyst's behavior the whole time, and we didn't know it in this episode, was just trying to like not burden Steven more. Like,
give him a break from the drama.
Even like lying in bed trying to get him to play GameCube. It's like just like that wasn't her reaction. That was just her like putting on a front for Steven's sake and trying to be like, we don't need to deal with this. Like, you have too much going on right now. And I think even running away in that moment, it's not necessarily her freaking out. Again, she's just trying to do it for Steven. And I think this is all like it's a really great look for Amethyst. Like, I love this in this where this episode ends up with her saying that it's about Steven, it's about how you're feeling. It's not like I have a reaction to this, but it's not even that important. Like, I care about you and how you're feeling, no one else does. And I think it's great in this kind of like larger Amethyst arc that we've gotten, that we've ended up with this mature spot with her. In terms of the episode in general, I'm not that crazy about it, honestly. It's a little bit of a letdown coming off of yesterday.
Pretty cool. It's a great character moment, but there's not necessarily a lot of like.
There's not a lot of plot. It's true. We don't learn a lot of new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really for the first half of the episode, I was like, okay, but then Steven started talking about his reaction to Rose. I was like, yes, like this is really interesting. Mm-hmm. So like, I don't need plot, I need that type of thing. I don't need Amethyst turning into the small gem. I didn't like that much. Honestly.
That was so funny.
I loved it.
That was short. That was like a great little snippet. Like, it was fantastic.
Okay. I appreciate. I like you guys liking this, so that's good. I didn't find anything particularly funny, but it was.
To me, that was the only thing that was like amazing. Was when she did that. I was like, I'm dead.
Yeah, there's
plot. A plot needs ups and downs. It needs hills and valleys. We need our big moments, and then we need our comical moments to balance. It's all about balance.
I mean, yeah, I think this is so they're trying to do this arc. Like, clearly, yesterday's episode leads into this episode. This episode leads into the next one. Which the structure I think is a little bit annoying. I don't know why we need to end here with them going to Sapphire. If
I'm so mad, I was like,
Ruby.
Why aren't we with Ruby? What the heck?
Yeah, like I think we don't need to end in that exact spot. We can end on the Amethyst thing, much like last night's episode. We don't need to end on the letter. We could have ended before that. I think it may be they're doing it in service of like this week-long arc, which it is nice that we're building to something here. And yeah, it's going to make sense in the context of building to larger events, of course. But I do think half of this episode is like silly Amethyst kind of type of material, which I'm
and your favorite, seeing all of the boardies.
Right. There's 2 minutes or a minute. It was a minute of seeing all the boardies. I didn't need to see them this week. I assume we'll see them again. But once Onion came on the screen, I was like, oh my goodness.
I love Onion.
It's like, no.
Hey, at least we didn't see Ronaldo.
Oh my god!
I know. I thought when he went to the telescope, I thought we were going to see Ronaldo, and I was very hyped. Michelle, I was very hyped to see Ronaldo at the telescope.
I hate Ronaldo.
He wasn't there.
I hate Ronaldo.
Onion is my tiny weird son.
And also, when we were at Vidalia's house, I was like, wow, we dodged a bullet. Onion is not here.
Oh my god,
goodness!
Dylan.
But then he was there, so I was not happy.
Dylan, do you not love these great goofs?
Yeah,
the great goofs, the greatest
goofs. There's some like quirky lines like that. Like Steven says, Amethyst, I love these great goofs. Yeah. There another one I've written down is when they're in the helicopter. Steven or it's like, we're crashing, and Steven's like, how does that make you feel? Like that.
Oh my god, the animation on that was so ugly. It was beautiful.
Wait, what? Yeah,
like on his face, the wrinkles and lines.
Every time they did that, I was like, this is atrocious. Great job.
That's a thanks, I hate it reaction.
Yes,
yeah. Thanks, I hate it. Yeah,
thanks, I hate it.
Yeah, so we talked mostly about Amethyst so far, and yeah, her reaction at the end. She's the most mature crystal gem. She's I'm ending it right here. What does she say? She says, "I'm the ding dong sunshine future." Is that what she says?
Something like that.
This line was so good. This is basically Amethyst just being like, well, if Pink Diamond can just pick a new name, I'm gonna do that. I'm ding dong sunshine future. I don't care what my name is, but I'm here for you.
Is that what she was doing?
Yes.
Okay. That was
Her
confusing.
just picking a new name like Pink Diamond did.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Not how I interpret it, but okay.
Yeah, we'll have to rewatch.
Yeah, I mean, she's the crux of it is like, I'm the future, all that stuff's all in the past. I think that, right? Like, that's kind of,
like it's not like I'm here now. Like, it doesn't matter about what my life was like before. Like, this is us now.
Yeah. She's
basically
saying,
very mature. Like, it is like props to Amethyst for like being able to compartmentalize and be like, you know what? Like, that's the past. I have control over my future. This is what I'm deciding for me. That's very cool.
Yeah, this scene and around the like minute or so and 2 minutes around it, I think is fantastic. Yeah.
She's like, you deserve it, you great person. She's like muttering it. So good.
Just very good.
Like, ugh, don't you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, she says, Steven's like, Emmett, have you been trying to cheer me up this whole time? And she says, don't you know you deserve it, you great person? Yeah. It's a really great line.
Good. The biggest duh of all time.
Yeah. She says, not responsible for what Rose did. None of us are, but I am responsible for me, and I'm ending it here right now. Yeah. That this whole speech, and then ding dong.
Amethyst is great. Like, oh my god, so proud of her.
Yeah. Why haven't we gotten more Amethyst? Because this is the first Amethyst episode, I think, in a long time.
And I know.
Does she just not have as much?
I have no good answer because I think she should be more prominent.
Well, I think they are focused. Well, the thing is, it does make sense with the Rose fallout. Amethyst wasn't there.
Yeah,
and I think that really is what it is, and that's kind of what makes this part so great. Is that she is like not the foil to Steven, but like her and Steven are in this together in the way that nobody else is.
Yeah,
and that's really what Smoky Quartz is about. But it's this. She's like, listen, like, I'm a gem, I have my own baggage, but none of this is our fault. I wasn't even here when the war happened. I'm done fighting this war. And I think that's kind of like the really great thing to appreciate about Amethyst. And that is why, like, she's here she's an afterthought, because we've been dragging it on and on and on, you know, about the war, about Rose Quartz. And like, it wasn't about Amethyst. Amethyst wasn't there.
Right.
She doesn't share this great history the rest of them do.
Right, which she mentioned, she wasn't there for the war. I also just think she's, like, a part of the reason she doesn't have as many episodes, she's just, like, less drama than everyone else.
Like, she doesn't cry like Pearl. Like, she doesn't have all the drama Pearl has.
Like, she honestly is the most mature one, so it's like, it's not as, I guess, interesting stuff, but she...
Well, it's like, for example, we have more stuff with Garnet when they're apart, because that is, like, super drama. That is drama of the highest degree.
For reference, the last time Amethyst did anything was Back to the Kindergarten, but that was more of a Peridot episode with, like, Amethyst kind of, again, being the mature one.
In terms of episode count, that wasn't that long
ago. And before that was
Gemcation,
where Amethyst was being the mature one. And before that was Tiger Philanthropist, where Amethyst retires. One of the most mature things a person can do.
Okay, we don't need to bring Tiger Philanthropist into
what you're saying.
I'm saying Amethyst is the mature one.
Yeah, I think that kind of has been her role, and this the most so. Where do you think this ranks in the pantheon of Amethyst episodes? Is this up there as like best?
This is my favorite.
Oh no!
To me, this isn't necessarily the best, but it's my favorite.
What about Steven versus Amethyst?
Yeah,
that is pretty good. That's true.
Ride or die.
Ride or die. Steven versus Amethyst. It's a pretty good one. They're fighting on the sand. That's the best. Like,
I certainly don't have this as high as the Summer of Steven Amethyst arc, but
well, no.
I feel like Earthlings is my favorite still.
I know it doesn't count as an Amethyst episode, but it does. It's not an Amethyst episode. She's good in the episode, but it's not.
It's a lot. It's a Jasp. It's an Amethyst. It's a little Peridot in there. It's a lot.
Where Amethyst picks up Jasper and says, "I got you, sis." That's not an Amethyst episode.
Just because someone has a moment in the episode doesn't mean it's their
episode.
There
are several Amethyst moments. The only reason we're there
was this Justin, was this an Onion episode because he was seen through the telescope?
No. The difference is the only reason that Earthlings happened is because of Amethyst. This episode did not happen because of Onion.
I agree. She's a major component of that, but it's not like that's not an Amethyst episode. Like this is an Amethyst episode. Like this is like all about Amethyst. And
no, this is an Amethyst and Steven episode.
Right. It's both of them. Yeah.
I'm with bonding. Justin. Like Earthlings. Like
okay, we don't need to get into Earthlings more.
Come on. Okay. There's enough there.
We love Earthlings. But let's talk about Amethyst and Steven talking about Rose, because this is when I perked up in the episode. I was like, okay, this is what I want to see.
Dylan sits up.
Drama. Oh boy.
This is coming off very soon after the Onion appearance, and I was not having it. But we'll go over all the towny stuff we had in that sequence. But to Steven's reaction to this revelation. This is what we've been waiting for, right? Like, we've spent season and a half, 2 seasons just having Steven just not be able to handle like everything he's slowly learning about his mom, and which he references in this discussion. Like, I thought I had it figured out that my mom didn't have everything figured out, even though everyone had her put her on a pedestal. So like, he came to this revelation that like she kind of sucked, even though everyone loved her, but now there's this on top of it. Now he says, but she's royalty too. I'm glad she didn't shatter anyone, but she lied to everyone, and he says,
she's a liar.
I already knew she was a liar. He says,
I was like,
yeah. And he says, I'm kind of mad. Yeah. So, I was, and he says, I know Rose is always good and bad and good, which I think is a kind of a so-for line of the show of the Rose arc. But he says, but Garnet's what matters right now. So we got Steven's take on it, even though it shifts to Amethyst, and then Amethyst trying to take it away, trying to assuage Steven, very quickly. We see he's still conflicted, not really processing how this. I think
he hasn't had a moment to sit and think about it, because literally, like, he finds out, and then it's Garnet just falls apart.
Right.
It's like there is no, like, this is all happening with, like, usually we have kind of room to breathe in some of these episodes. Like, something will happen, then it's like not necessarily the next literal moment, but there has, like, Steven sitting on the beach is like and them eating pizzas, like, is like the only time he's gotten to like breathe since he found out that his mom's Pink Diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
it's like when we podcast right after the episode. Like, he sit down and like process.
Is that what that's like? Okay.
We have given more thought to it than he has. He's
definitely. That's definitely true. I think it makes sense that Steven wouldn't be as upset about this revelation as Garnet, I guess just Garnet, because
he's learned more in a quicker amount of time, so he's already kind of adjusted to being kind of pessimistic.
Well, it's also his mom being Pink Diamond isn't as big of a deal to him as to everyone else.
Right. Yeah.
It's more personal to Garnet and other people, but I think
Steven knew her as Rose and he didn't.
Right. Steven already came to the conclusion that Rose sucked. Like, he already got there.
He already knew this. He was like, my mom sucked.
This revelation is Rose sucked more. But it's not that big of a mental shift. Like, Garnet was worshipped Rose, and now this completely changes her frame of reference. That's much harder to deal with. So I do think this makes a lot of sense for Steven.
Well, and them, like, to the other gems, the fact that if Rose did shatter Pink Diamond, they were like, well, it worked. But to Steven, that was like a horrible thing that she did.
Yeah.
And then that was what he was stuck on that for a long time, and and he learned that wasn't true. So a lot of his thought is going to be in that direction, and not necessarily at the other more subtle consequences of this.
At least she wasn't that bad, instead of she was so great.
Like, at least he said he's like, at least she didn't shatter anyone.
Right. Like, I think in Steven's mind this is maybe better, even though in our minds it's worse. But Steven's not going to have time to think about that yet, and it's possible he won't even arrive at that place.
I do think it's fair for, like, in Steven's case. Well, I don't think any of us for a while were convinced that she shattered Pink Diamond, even when they were like, she shattered Pink Diamond.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah. You're making stuff up. But for Steven, like, for who Steven is, that is terrible. And after talking to Bismuth, that is like the worst thing he could imagine. It's literally like, my mom murdered someone, but then to find out that's not true, that's a relief for Steven. And so I think it makes sense that to him, this is like not the worst thing ever. He's like, this sucks, but I already knew she sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. We've known that, she didn't shatter her. We've known she didn't shatter her for years. So.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a season, but years in the airing. But yeah.
Exactly.
And then Amethyst, we get Amethyst's reaction to all of this too. She's like saying, you shouldn't have to deal with any. This has nothing to do with me. Like, she turns it into like her reaction. So we do get a part of, how she's reacting to all of this, I guess. I guess I'm a little unclear what's intended to distract Steven and what's not, because then we have this segment of, of Steven trying to talk to Amethyst, and then they're in the helicopter, like the little inside my head thing as we referenced, and they crash and stuff. So like there's this whole element of like talk to me, Amethyst. So but I think she's at least partly running away because she doesn't want Steven to have to deal with her problems.
Well, that's exactly why she's running away. Yeah, because she's like, she kind of like lets slip like that she's really frustrated, and Steven being Steven, like he sees that and he like latches onto it. He's like, oh, you're feeling really bad, let's talk about it. And she's like, no, this is like the one thing I don't want to do right now. And so she's like willing to literally fly away to like just drop it. But when he persists and they finally crash on the beach, she's like, okay, like he's not gonna drop it, so like I'm gonna explain it in this way, and hopefully we can like pick it up later. And she does that very, very well.
Well, Steven also runs away from how he's feeling too. Like this is kind of his way of doing it.
Yeah,
for sure. That's a good point, because like he gives us kind of like an overview of how he's feeling, but he doesn't really dig into it.
He didn't tell us anything.
He's so focused on Ruby now. He's just been jumping from gem to gem. I think you're right, Delaney. Like
I kind of feel
his way of processing.
And it's sad, and my mom's
helping everyone else.
Darn, it's sad. Like that's literally what he says. It's like Steven.
Yeah, I think Steven's dealing with it by trying to deal with everyone else's problems, and basically, like, I think the Amethyst in this episode trying to not burden Steven with how she's feeling, trying to help Steven. Then she lets it slip that she is feeling badly. Then she's then she adjusts back and is like, no, I don't want Steven to have to deal with how I'm feeling too. In addition to all the everyone else freaking out, and then she lays it out for him at the end. Yeah, so I guess that's the arc of the episode, but it's kind of like a twist ending because it's not, her actions have new context given towards the end. Yeah.
Well, I liked it too when they were when they're eating pizza and she was like, "Aren't you mad?" Like,
yeah, you could feel like her own anger when she's asking that.
Yeah.
As soon as we get through Steven helping all the other gems, we're gonna have to like, before we get to Steven's feelings, we're gonna tell Peridot, Lapis, and Centipedal, and we get 3 more episodes before Steven finally. No, I just need that episode of Centipedal. How do you feel about Pink Diamond?
Well, I'm waiting for either tomorrow or Thursday, and it's like the apocalypse.
Yeah, well, we see that in the preview, right? That's coming. So,
are you sure that's not Friday?
It's probably Friday, but I'm unsurprised Justin managed to bring up Centipedal, but
I miss her. She's good.
We're just leaving her in that ship for the rest of time.
No.
Okay, let's quickly go through all the townie appearances and boardy appearances, and then we can ask everyone what their favorite was. They checked the car wash, not there. They try to put up wanted posters with Vidalia. Petey's food truck still going. Wanted posters. Check Funland. They're in the teacup ride. Ring
I
toss.
did like where they're like throwing them.
Yeah, ring toss. Mr. Smiley's there. Telescope. They see Onion. And then they get pizza with Kiki, and then Jenny comes. They also see the cool kids too at some point. Telescope. Yeah. So
no, I love that when she comes in and she's like, "Yeah, Mr. Universe gave me the biggest tip. I'm gonna buy those boots."
Yeah.
Just like she was comforting his little friend, and me and my girlfriend are like, "Ruby."
His little friend.
I just love it. She must have been crying. She's all red. Like she's literally red. Like it's so funny.
This brings up a good thing Judy. Though. Like if Ruby's with Greg, then Greg probably knows too now, right? Crap. And how is he gonna feel about like finding out this way?
Also, like, can we talk about how great Greg is? Like, what a bro.
He's like the sweetest man. Like I think
he was not really in this episode.
The underdog MVP though. Like he is so understanding. Like people get so mad at him, especially Pearl, and he brushes it off.
That's where Steven gets it.
Yeah, I think so. Like I think
we'll talk Greg tomorrow, Michelle. We have time.
Okay. I just have a lot of Greg feelings.
Yeah, all okay. Right. Well, Greg did not barely appeared in this episode. Justin, what was your favorite Bordy cameo that we saw?
Sadie.
Where
that was good.
Sadie was standing with the cool kids at the car.
And Jenny came out with pizza, and I was about to be like, kiss, kiss, kiss.
Calm,
the ship?
Okay.
Calm.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was the blushing thing. Okay, yeah, I remember now.
You remember now,
Sadie. Yeah, when's the concert? We were promised a concert, so I don't know when that is.
I don't know.
Michelle, well, what was your favorite cameo?
Petey.
Petey.
I feel sad that like Petey never became like a hot character that got his own episodes after Frybo, because I thought he had so much potential.
He might still.
Yeah, he's so great. I hope he does before, at some point.
Before
he
everyone
becomes
dies.
An intergalactic fry salesman.
Everyone dies. I'd love a PD episode.
I guess anything's on the table with Lars, but yeah, PD was my favorite. Delaney, who's yours?
Obviously, Onion.
Oh, get out of here. Okay. But there's also this
weird son.
There's also this. Hopefully, this is our last Onion appearance. JK, it's not because he's in the promo, so we know he's going to be there later. We frame this episode around the aftermath of Ruby leaving, obviously. So we see the letter in the beginning, and it says, "I need time to think, so I'm running away." And just very blunt Ruby written letter.
I'm still over I saw her. I gave her a pin, and I was like,
Amethyst, how could you not know where this was leading?
Yeah, but she's just trying to be chill for Steven. That's the point all along.
I think that Amethyst didn't care. She's like, you know what? If you guys want to have a big drama fest, go for it. I don't care.
I'm gonna play video games.
Yeah.
Sapphire. Pearl's breakdown was quality.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Pearl was crying along with Sapphire. Was this because does Sapphire have Blue Diamond type empathetic powers? Is this what we're?
No.
I think everyone's just sad.
Pearl especially kind of leans on Garnet as a leader in the aftermath of Rose, because I remember very early Steven first season, every time Pearl would grab Garnet's arm or put her hand on her shoulder, I was is she gay for Garnet? And I think it might be that, but also
sardonic's not proof
her
that
as a supportive figure. Yeah, and so the idea that Garnet might not exist is just kind of it's another thing kind of rocking her stable world view. So I think that's why she starts crying.
Isn't the entire basis of Sugar Light in Sardonyx just being I want to be Sardonyx because she just loves Garnet so much and she's jealous?
Yep.
Oh yeah, no, this is true.
Pearl is super gay.
I mean, I buy the Pearl's having a reaction along with Sapphire, but I just she's in the blue cast. I don't think it's out of the question that she is some sort of this type of thing. Steven also did sweat drop. I wasn't sure if that was or a tear.
I think it was stress, but it could have been a tear, which I think it makes sense. You see Sapphire crying, and you're like, oh god, and then Pearl starts crying, and you're like, well, I have to cry now.
Yeah, crying.
I'm an empathetic crier. If someone starts crying, it's over.
That's this show. It's obviously everyone crying. Notable line from Sapphire when she's trying to see the future. She says, "Why would she be a cowboy?"
That was good quality.
Yeah,
and also just says she's so delightful and spontaneous. Yeah.
It's
the delivery of that line was just
the best.
Because you never start crying at the thing that's actually the saddest you're saying. You always start crying at the most innocuous line. And that was of why would she be a cowboy?
Yeah. Well, we'll see if we see that. But and then at the end of the episode, they find them and they're on Brooding Hill.
Yep, Brooding Hill.
Do we know Brooding Hill was a thing? I don't remember.
Yes, it's where Ronaldo goes to brood.
Oh, it is. It is.
Ronaldo named it.
Full disclosure. Yeah.
One of my personal favorite episodes.
Okay, Justin. So we see them at the end, so we'll deal with this next episode. And we mentioned all the Amethyst comedy stuff. She shapeshifted as Ruby. They say she either went into town or into the ocean, and then they go look in the ocean.
They literally go.
Those are their two directions. I was
mean, think about it. How many? Usually, when gems walk off in this show, they end up in the ocean.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't make that sort of meta joke. Yeah, I agree. And then really small Amethyst as discussed.
That's the best gag.
Precious.
Steven calls them goofs. So
I need all the fan art of the gems at gem size.
Yeah, that's the chib.
That would be very cute.
That's what the Steven Universe chibi is them.
Yes,
reduced to the
Pearl
gems.
would look weird.
Why would Pearl look weird?
Because it's on her forehead.
In her forehead. So what? Would her nose be like? Yeah, it would be so good.
Draw we need to see it. Yep, I think that covers everything I've written down. Yeah, just that Amethyst sequence towards the end, I think it's really wonderful. Everything, what they're on the beach, right? And she's strikes up this pose. I think I'm going to make that the screenshot. Yeah,
it's so good. Yeah, it's really good. A good one.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else we didn't talk about, or any final thoughts?
I have a question.
Yes. What's your question, Michelle?
So, like, the thing that really freaked me out when I saw this episode was, like, you know, when Sapphire's reading Ruby's letter, and she's like, "I need time to think," because whenever you're in a relationship and somebody writes that, you have reason to be terrified. So, are you guys like concerned about how Ruby might be feeling? And like, if the potential for Garnet to maybe break up.
I'm not talking about this. Nope, we're not talking about it.
All right.
Yeah. Nope.
Delaney, you don't know what's happening. What's are they going to get back together?
Yeah,
are they going to break up?
They have to get back together. What are you talking about? I can't live like this.
Okay.
Me and my girlfriend are going to get Ruby and Sapphire matching tattoos. I can't live in a world like this where they break up.
Wait,
okay.
Delaney, important question number 2. Which one would
she's Ruby.
I'm obviously
She's Ruby. Jeez.
All right, it's coming out now. I see.
What question is that?
Did you hear her this podcast? Like, come on. Yeah.
I'm obviously Ruby.
So do you think? So you say they just have to get back together, or your world will crumble?
I can't emotionally. If they're not together immediately, I will have to quit life. Like I can't. Can't handle it.
I mean, this is Steven.
Delaney will be absent from the rest of the podcast because I will be like just so despondent.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Yeah, I mean,
like, where's Delaney? Oh, she died. It's fine.
What show is this? I mean, I agree that this that letter was, but it's Ruby's. Ruby's not like hinting at anything. Ruby's just being very literal, as Steven said.
Ruby can't hint at things. Like,
yeah,
Ruby's incapable of that.
So my reaction is that Ruby doesn't need the thing Ruby's reacting to was the horrible things that Sapphire said yesterday that she said to her. Sad. So I feel like she's just like upset that Sapphire was upset at her, and
also I think dealing with what happened. Like,
I think it's partially like the realization of the truth, but also, you know, like Sapphire's that line, like, our relationship's built on a lie. And that's like heavy. Like, again, if my person said that to me, or they said I need time to think, like, both those things would really concern me. So if she's gonna be thinking about anything, I would assume it's about, well, is our relationship built on a lie? Should we be together?
I'll be done. I can't live like this.
As we talked about yesterday, the Sapphire realizes that that's not true at the end of Monday's episode. But Ruby wasn't there. So tomorrow we just have to tell Ruby that.
Just see.
I'm going to be stressed until tomorrow.
But you think they're not going to get back together by the end of tomorrow, Delaney? Like,
they better.
But tomorrow's Wednesday.
I believe in Garnet.
Yes.
I mean, I believe in Garnet too. Like, for real.
I believe in Steven.
Yeah, I will literally die.
All right.
Are they turning back into Garnet tomorrow or Thursday?
They turning back into Garnet.
They have to, or I'll die.
I don't think so. No.
I don't know about that. Again, it's only Wednesday tomorrow, so I feel like that's too soon.
Wednesday.
We cannot have scary hands falling out of the sky and Garnet not be together
without Garnet. Yeah.
Dylan, there's not room in the opening for them to not be Garnet.
Dude, new opening, just Ruby and Sapphire.
Oh my God,
they're not talking to each other. Yeah.
Goodbye,
Ruby,
everyone.
Sapphire, Amethyst, Pearl.
That's when they finally redo the opening after season 2. It's taken them this long, but they're gonna.
We'll put Peridot in there and Lapis now. Yeah. Delaney's just very scarred by this promo. I can tell because she's just not looking forward to the end of this week. Okay, Delaney, final thoughts on what's your problem?
I'm really proud of Amethyst. In the beginning of this show, Amethyst is my least favorite character. And I just don't like her archetype, like where we started off, but where we are now, I am honestly blown away by her character development, and I'm really proud of Amethyst in this episode. And my girlfriend would like everyone to know that she loved Amethyst from day one, and you can all.
Oh yeah,
I think a lot of people liked Amethyst.
I liked Amethyst.
This isn't at the fandom. This is at like Dylan specifically, generally.
Look, look. I like Amethyst. I've always been an Amethyst fan. I just think Amethyst episodes tend to be not as good. That's not her fault. She's not responsible for that.
She's not responsible for her own episodes. I mean, I guess that's true.
She's not. It's not. Yeah.
Someone else made them, but okay.
A very meta commentary, Dylan.
It's true. I don't blame her. Okay, Michelle. What final thoughts on what's your problem?
I'm really glad we got this from Amethyst. I always appreciate checking in with characters and seeing where they are, you know, with their development, with their priorities, with their lives. I'm a very like character heavy person when it comes to shows, so like I love stuff like this. So I'm really glad that we got it. and I'm very curious about what's going to happen next.
No, you're not. Okay.
I am the only one who's here.
Justin, final thoughts on what's your problem?
I am very excited, and I thought this was a great episode, and it's like probably in my top 10. Like, I know that's saying a lot.
Top 10 overall Steven Universe episodes?
Overall.
Ooh,
I did not get that from you.
It's his list, Dylan.
Because
I'm saying you didn't express it the previous 40 minutes.
I love when especially animated shows deal with really nuanced, hard to pin down motivations and ideas. And I think this handled, like, the amount of maturity that Amethyst showed in this is more maturity than some people I know in real life even show, like, in their entire life, yet alone 11 minutes. And so to be able to kind of put that kind of nuance, I love seeing episodes go there, and I think this did a really good job of that, of truly being a mature episode.
Yeah, I buy that this is a Justin episode. I think it has that tone to it, so I'll buy that. I'll buy that you like it a lot. Top 10, interesting. Okay. Full disclosure, number 1 on Justin's list.
No, it's not number 1 anymore. It's up there.
Anymore, okay.
Well, Dylan, that comes to, you mean, the new Lars is at least like number 3 on your list, so who are you to talk?
No, it's only number 8 or something. Come on, don't be ridiculous. It's
Don't be ridiculous, only number 8.
Yeah, but Future Boy Zoltron's in your top 10, so you can get out, Dylan.
No. It's in my top 30 for the troll factor.
Wow.
But, there you go.
Okay.
Wow.
That's probably not true. Need to rank so we can fight about this. But yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, look, love the climax of this episode. And look, if this is the worst episode we get this week, I'll be happy.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Please.
Tomorrow, the question.
But we cannot.
Crap, I'm not going to be on it.
We already have the question. The question is, what is your problem? There we go. Got it.
Yeah, this title had a question.
Who? That's the question.
But the answer is
exactly.
love.
It is.
It should be love, yeah.
Yeah, in the comments yesterday, people were
Delaney,
telling us
that's not me being happy. We had a question called the answer, where the answer was love. We already know answer was love.
No, the answer was gay. That was the answer.
Okay, that's
the subtitle answer to love. Yeah,
it's all good.
Otaku Guy yesterday said that yesterday's title was a reference to Total Eclipse of the Heart, the song. If so, that is the third episode title in shows we cover this year that references Total Eclipse of the Heart. So
are we shocked? No.
Yeah, Star and Mysticons the other two.
Oh yeah, Star. LOL.
Yeah. Okay.
What was the Mysticons episode? Oh wait.
Total Eclipse of the Golden Heart. Yeah. Geez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We just got to keep referencing Mysticons at the end of these more popular shows so people check it out.
It's important.
Yeah. And yeah. So let us know what you thought of What's Your Problem. And the comments, YouTube comments. Make sure you subscribe to them as our future discussions. Getting some big stuff. So bigger than Onion appearances. That's what we'll say. We're only going up from here in terms of importance.
More onion.
Ouch.
But also more onion. So that's
more onion. My son.
Yeah. Okay. Now Justin's just singing it. And talk with us on Discord, overlyanimated.com/Discord. Support us via Patreon, patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thank you very much to all our current patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Lucas, aka Rocco. And thanks as always to our patron executive producers, John, Ryan, Steve, Alex, Andy, and Hugh. Check out our other Steven Universe podcasts at overlyanimated.com. The OKKO discussion, that's also new in quotes this week, but it was online first. And Michelle, Alex, and Steve covered all of the episodes that went up online.
I liked what I watched of OKKO before this episode came out.
There's some good gay stuff, Delaney. Keep watching.
Okay.
Keep watching.
Alex is criticizing the episode selection that Cartoon Network has before.
Oh my god, Alex!
Before he says that the episodes that are aired before Steven
marathoning this weekend? Is it the Summer Camp show?
Summer Camp Island is this weekend.
I want to watch it.
So excited.
Okay.
No, they showed that preview, and I was like, "This looks magical."
Yeah, no, it is.
I've been very hype about this. For
it
a long
is
time,
magical.
So we'll probably podcast on that. Probably all 20 episodes. So whoever finishes 20 episodes gets to be on that podcast.
Oh,
okay, I'm gonna be on it then.
Okay. Wow. We'll see who can marathon it. And yeah, overlyanimated.com for all that. Thank you guys very much for listening. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.